A lot of times in games, people tend to just look for meta builds, meta guns, and just, stick to that, right? They don't try anything else in the game. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You can just do that and just make the game easier for you, I guess. But doing that often, you won't see other guns and try other stuff in the game and see how fun or how good they are. In my case, I actually don't go for metas all the time. I'm actually not a meta boy at all. I like trying all type of different stuff, and doing that I found like this weapon that I have not seen anybody use, I don't think. Now, this SMG actually is the highest damage per bullet SMG in the game. It's not in the meta at all, right? It's far from the meta, but it does have the highest damage per bullet. But I'll show you and explain why people might not use it. Now, in this video, I'm gonna focus on talking about this weapon, but I will show you the build that I'm using just because, well, if you do not want to use this weapon, you can use actually any other SMG on this build because it's a really good SMG build for close quarter combats. You can slap your Lady Death if you want, which is the meta weapon, right? The meta SMG, and you will do just fine with this build because the Lady Death can also achieve 1+ million damage. But I think the highest I've seen with my Lady Death on the same build is 1.3 million. But with this weapon, I get 1.6 million on the head, which is the highest that I got, and 1.2 millions on the body shot with this weapon, right? So I'm talking about this gun right here, guys. I'm talking about the M1928. Now, don't mistake this weapon with the Tommy gun because it does look just like the Tommy gun. I believe visually the only difference between this SMG and the Tommy gun is that the magazine, right? The Tommy gun has that huge magazine, like the round magazine, and this one has that one that is straight. But other than that, I think they do look almost the same. Now, this weapon, as I mentioned, has the highest damage per bullet in the game as far as I know, and the damage will be 70.5k per bullet. That's before any additional damage from your build, right? So the RPM on it is 600. It's not the lowest, but it's on the lower side, and that's why you have that much damage per bullet. Now, the mag is of 50 rounds on the magazine, and this is interesting because this is actually the only mod that you can equip on this weapon, because this weapon does not take any other mod besides, the skin, right? This is the skin and also the magazine. I think that's where people don't even look at this gun as soon as they see that this weapon takes only one mod. Now, I think to kind of like compensate the fact that it doesn't have a lot of mods, it has the highest damage per bullet, even though the RPM is 600, because I see other weapons with 600 RPM but not close to that amount of damage per bullet. Now, my gun, as you see, it actually got rolled. I was really lucky with this gun because it has everything that I want on any weapon as a fact. So it has that damage of that weapon itself, on this case SMG damage max, critical chance max, and then attributes, what I look for in most of the guns, damage to target out of cover, which is max also. The talents on this gun, I will give you a couple choices. The one that I use personally is Strength, which is gain 10% critical damage for every 0.5 seconds that you are firing and stack up to 5 times. That means a 50% critical damage that you can get after 2.5 seconds of firing the gun, right? That's 50% critical damage. Now, you have other choices. You could use the Insync, which is the meta talent, if I say so myself. That's about 30% weapon damage to your gun. That's very good also. And also you can use Close and Personal, which is another 30% weapon damage, but after killing an enemy within 7 meters. So all of these weapon talents, they are good. I would think that Insync is good, but it doesn't have the most damage when it comes to crit. I think I was critting more with Strength, but after I get the full stack, right? With the Insync, I will get a more consistent damage because after my drone keeps on hitting enemies, I will have that consistent damage. Still a really high damage, but with the Strength, after you activate it, you get a little bit more damage. In my case, that's what happened to me. But let me know if you guys try this out, which weapon talent worked better for you guys. Now, as I said, I do want to show you guys the builds that I'm using to show off this gun, even though I did use this weapon first was on my Negotiator's Dilemma build. The one that I use on legendaries, if you guys notice, I always have this weapon as my secondary because I find it really good on Negotiator's Dilemma. So that's another build that you can use this gun with and it will hit really hard. Now on this video, I'm gonna show you guys with this build right here, which is the highest damage, I think, like the DPS build for SMG, really good for shotguns and SMG on close quarter combats. So we are using a 4-piece hunter's gear set, which is quite good for, you know, SMG and shotgun. As I mentioned, we're gonna have the mask, the gloves, the knee pads, and also the holster. By equipping 2 pieces, you get 15% shotgun damage and SMG damage. 3 pieces gives you a 20% armor on kill and 100% health on kill. And the 4th piece you get Apex Predators. So within 15 minutes, receive a debuff amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Now after you kill these debuffed enemies with your weapon, other enemies within 5 meters of that enemy will get disoriented, and then you're gonna get another 5% amplified damage against them, which you can stack up to 5 times, right? And then it stays for 10 seconds. So that's another 25% amplified damage that you can add on the second part of this talent. Now for the attributes, it's going to be pretty simple for every single piece. Core attribute is going to be weapon damage for everything, and then attribute on the gear set itself is going to be critical hit damage because we're using an SMG and we don't need much critical chance. And then I'll have a couple mods that has critical hit chance to accommodate close to that 60% critical hit chance cap. So moving down, for the chest piece, we have a Circle of Concern. Very important for an SMG build, right? Because you get a 10% SMG damage by equipping 1 Circle of Concern. The talent on this Circle of Concern chest piece will be a Obliterated. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, and it can stack up to 25 times. So that's a total of 25% weapon damage that you can add to this build by using Obliterated. Then the second talent will be on the chest piece. This chest piece will be from the brand set Grupo Sombra, because with the Grupo Sombra 1 piece you get 15% critical hit damage. Very good for SMG builds, right? So going for the talent, we have Vigilance. Increase total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. This is one of the best talents which has straight damage on the backpacks. The only downside of it, it will, you know, disabled for 4 seconds after you take damage. Now with that said though, there's a good way of not having that disabled, which is by using the shield. Now I know guys, a lot of you guys hate the shield because everybody uses the shield, right? But honestly, I wish we don't have the shield. I wish we could just use, just like Division 1, straight up cover if you need to cover and not using the shield in every single build. But on this build, in some cases, the shield will come in handy, and if you don't want to use it, just don't use it. But we gotta admit it's helpful and it is in the game, right? So in my case, actually you can see on the gameplays, I don't use it most of the time and I'm just fine with it. But if you want to have a consistent like damage with the talent Vigilance, use the shield because you will take less damage direct to your character that's not gonna disable the Vigilance. Now with that said, after the shield, we have for the skills, we have a Striker Drone. I like using the Striker Drone, as I mentioned many times, because it will take the attention of the NPCs for a while and have them busy while you melt them down or focusing on other NPCs. I like the Striker Drone, it's very useful, does damage, a little bit of damage, but it keeps the NPCs busy. Plus, if you are gonna use the In Sync talent, this will work pretty well to activate In Sync. The specialization choice on this build is the Gunner, and honestly it's for a specific reason, which is this right here. So Instant killing grants 10% armor on kill. So if you add that 10% to that 20% from the brand set Hunter's Fury, that's a 30% on the builds. That's gonna help you get some armor on kill. Not only that, we do have this barrage, which is a rate of fire increased by 5% on kills for 5 seconds. This weapon does have a low RPM, so that's just a little bit of a buff to your RPM after you kill an enemy, so that's not bad at all. Actually comes quite handy on this build with this weapon itself, right? Now with that said though, with this build right here, going back to the stats, let's check the weapon stats. So we do have a weapon damage of 174,000 weapon damage and also 54.6% critical hit chance. The critical hit damage is going to be 142% critical hit damage, which is quite good. Will be hitting really hard after you activate the strain. That's going to be a total of 192.3% critical hit damage, because strain will give you a 50% critical hit damage on top of these. Now let me show you guys the all weapon damage, because I noticed some of you want to see this on builds when I do the videos. So on this build I do have 92.1% all weapon damage on this build, and submachine gun is going to be 55% submachine gun damage. The shotgun is only 30%, but keep in mind on the gun itself right now I don't have activate the shotgun damage, so I would say this is going to be probably around 45% shotgun damage after you activate damage from the gunner itself. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think of this weapon, right? The M1928. Have you tried it? I have not seen anybody use this weapon at all since the beginning of the game, and it's an interesting gun, right? I was lucky to have this God Roll one. Maybe you're not gonna have the same experience as me because you might not find it, but yeah. And let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Let me know any other like off meta guns that you like using and it works really well for you, so I can try it for myself, because like I said, I'm not a meta boy. I like using different stuff to have fun. That's the the objective of playing a game, have fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed by hitting that like, it helps a lot. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys.
Good work. Go on ahead back.